Hey guys, welcome to day 33. Today we're going to continue talking about writing equations of lines. We're going to build on what we learned in our last unit. If you recall, slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. And we also learned about point-slope form, y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times x minus x of 1. Okay, so in this unit, we're going to or today's lesson we're going to learn something called standard form. And that is in the form of ax plus by is equal to c. Okay, now standard form is not used as much. We do use standard form a lot when we're solving systems of equations. We're going to be doing that later in the year. We also use standard form. Standard form is actually an easier way to actually figure out the x and the y intercepts too. But for the most part, we typically use the slope-intercept form. But I want to kind of expose you to the standard form and get used to using that. Also, more important, I want you to get used to reading the directions. I was finding out from your last assessment, you're not really reading the directions all the time. So if I look at standard form, it does say that standard form will have no fraction coefficients. So if I look at that, a, b, and c will not be fractions, and a, and just only a, the leading coefficient cannot be negative. So we're going to do a little bit of work with that. All right, but before we do that, let's go back and review a little bit. It says write an equation in point-slope form. So it's point-slope form. Let's highlight that because a lot of you guys aren't doing that. Okay, it's point-slope form, and we want it to be one that passes through the point 4, -3, and has a slope of 2. So point-slope form, we would just set it up as y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times x minus x of 1. So if we plug in our x of 1 and our y of 1 here, we're going to get y plus 3 is equal to the slope is 2 times x minus 4. Okay? And guess what? We are done. That's what it's asking for. So don't go ahead and don't put it in slope-intercept form. Just follow the directions. Okay? The next one says write an equation in point-slope form, again, of the line that passes through the point -1, 4 and has a slope of -2. So y minus the y sub 1 will be y minus 4 is equal to -2 times x plus 1. And that's our answer. Okay, moving on to number 3, it says graph the equation. Well, there's a couple of ways you could graph it, all right? So you can get it in slope-intercept form, and that's kind of what we're familiar with. And what I mean by that is y equals mx plus b, where b is the y-intercept and m is the slope. So let's go ahead and do that, y plus 2, and I'm going to do that by distributing the 2/3. And 2/3 times -3 is -6/3, so it's 2/3 x minus 2. All right, now I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides, and when I do that, y is equal to 2/3 x minus 4. Okay, so that's the equation in slope-intercept form. That makes it easy to graph from. So I look at my y-intercept, and I get to -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's my starting point. My slope is 2/3, so I'm going to rise 2 and run 3. 1, 2, 3, rise 2, run 2, 3, a little off, and I connect my points like that. Okay, now the other way I could have done it, if you notice, this is actually already in point-slope form. So I'm going to write that right there, x minus x of 1. So looking at that, if you notice, the slope jumps right out. M is 2/3. Okay, and the point actually that could be used for point-slope form would be the x of 1, which would be x minus x of 1, so it's positive 3. And then the y value would be y minus a -2. Would give me y plus 2. So it's actually the opposite. This is plus 2, so it would become -2 for your, -2 rather for your y, and it would be positive 3 for your x. So if I started at 3, -2, let's go 1, 2, 3, -2, there's the point, and notice it's right there on the line. It's the same line, it's just another way to approach it. So if I looked at number 4, I'm going to just try to do it just by noticing it's in point-slope form. So I can pull out my slope right here. It's just a negative, so my slope is actually -1. And my point is actually going to be x minus 2, so my x is 2, and my y is going to be a 1. So if I start at 2, 1, and my slope is -1, I'm going to go down 1 and over, down 1 and over, or up 1 and over, and there's my line. Okay, it looks like that. Okay, moving on to number 5, we're going to write an equation. Okay, we're writing the equation in point-slope form. Okay, so what I'm still going to need to figure out my slope. So to figure out my slope, I'm just going to do rise over run. I'm going to use the 2 points that they identified, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 4, and then to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 over negative 4, which gives me a -1 slope. Now to do point slope form, I can pick either point. So in this case, I'll pick the point that's going to be at -1. This is at -1, 3. Okay. Oh, I mean -1, 2. Sorry. -1, 2. Okay. And if I put that in point slope form, it would be y minus 2 is equal to my slope, -1 times x plus 1. Okay. Or I could have used this point right here, and I'll do this one in blue. Let's try to get some blue there. Okay, this is at 1, 2, 3. This is at 3, -2. So it could have used that point. It would be y plus 2 is equal to -1 times x minus 3. So either answer would be fine. Okay. All right, number 6. If I look at number 6, my slope, it says write the equation in point slope form. So my slope is going to be my rise over my run. So I've got a 1 over 1, 2, 3. So 1/3 is my slope. And I can use this point if I want. That's at 0, 1. Okay, so y minus 1 is equal to 1/3 times x minus 0. Or I could actually use, let's look at this point right here. This point is at 1, 2, 3, 3, 2. All right, so I can write this as y minus 2 is equal to 1/3 times x minus 3. Okay, either answer is fine. All right, moving on, 7, 8, 9. So point slope form, we want to move it to slope intercept form. To do that, we're going to start by distributing. So y minus 5 is equal to 3x minus 3. Then I'm going to add my 5 to both sides. And when I do that, I end up with y is equal to 3x plus 2. So that's my answer in slope intercept form. So point slope form, let's write this up there. Y minus y sub 1 is equals m times x minus x of 1. Okay, my slope intercept form, y equals mx plus b. And my new standard form, ax plus by is equal to c. Okay, so to get it to standard form, I'm going to take this 3x and bring it to the other side of the equation. And I'm going to do that by subtracting 3x from both sides. So when I do that, I end up with -3x plus y is equal to 2. But remember what I told you, the leading coefficient cannot be negative. So we're going to get rid of that negative leading coefficient by multiplying both sides of the equation by -1. Okay? So, and remember you have to multiply every term. -1 times -3x is positive 3x. -1 times y is -y. And -1 times 2 is -2. So our final answer in standard form, 3x minus y equals -2. All right, so if you want to pause the video right now and try the next 2 problems and then come back and check it, that would be great. Okay, and I'll just continue on. So I'm going to distribute here. Y plus 3 is equal to -2x plus 4. Okay, then I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. In slope intercept form, I've got y is equal to -2x plus 1. Okay, and then to move to standard form, I'm just going to add 2x to both sides. And when I do that, I end up with 2x plus y is equal to 1, and I am done in standard form. Okay, going back to number 9 here, let's distribute. Y minus 1 equals 3x plus 18. All right, then I'm going to add 1 to both sides. So in slope intercept form, I've got y is equal to 3x plus 19. Okay, to get to standard form, I'm going to subtract my 3x from both sides. And I end up with -3x plus y is equal to 19. I want to multiply both sides by -1 to get rid of the negative. When I do that, I have 3x minus y is equal to -19. There's my answer. Okay, moving on. Now we're going back again. We're back to graphing. So again, I've got 3 graphs. If you look at them all, they're all in point slope form. Y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x of 1. Okay, you can set it up and put it in slope intercept form to graph, or you can just pull out the point and the slope. Okay, so my slope here for this one would be right here, the negative, so it means it's a -1. And my point, if I look at it, because this is a +2, the x value would actually be a negative because we're subtracting the negative. That would make it +2. All right, and then if I look at the y is 4, y sub 1 is 4, so if we're subtracting a negative, it's going to actually be a -4. So to graph, I just start at -2, -4, 1, 2, 3, 4. My slope is -1, so I'm going to go up 1 and to the left, up 1 to the left, up 1 to the left, and there's my line. All right, looking at number 11, my slope is going to be 3/4. My point is going to be -1 for my x, and then a +1 for my y. So -1, +1. My slope is 3/4, so I'm going to rise 3. 1, 2, 3, run 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my second point. Remember, I can also go down 3. 1, 2, 3, and to the left 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and now I make my line. All right, number 12, I'm going to identify my slope as -5/2. And my point is actually going to be at 3 and then -4. Okay. So 3, -4, 1, 2, 3, -4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to start at this point, and my slope is -5/2. So I don't want to go down 5 because I'll be off the graph. So I'm going to go up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then to the left 2. That'll make my negative slope. Up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, a little off, and then to the left 2. So there's my line. Okay, number 13, it says write an equation in standard form. So here we're getting finally our new form, ax plus by is equal to c. Okay, remember, a, b, and c can't be fractions, and a cannot be negative. So it says write the equation in standard form of the line that passes through the given point and has the given slope. So we've got a point, we have the slope. We're going to start out with point slope form. Y minus 1 equals 1/4 times x minus 1. I'm going to distribute, so I get my 1/4 x minus 1/4. All I do is take this and multiply it. Okay, now I'm going to add 1 to both sides. When I add 1 to this side, I'm actually adding 4/4, okay, as a fraction. So I end up with y is equal to 1/4 x, and -1 plus 4 is +3/4. Okay. I'm going to bring my 1/4 to the other side. So now we're in slope-intercept form, but I want to get to standard form. So I'm going to subtract my 1/4 x from both sides of my equation. And when I do that, I end up with -1/4 x plus y is equal to 3/4. Now I can get rid of my negative, and I can get rid of the fraction in one swoop by multiplying both sides of the equation by a negative. I'll do it over here to make space, -4. Okay, so -4 times -1/4 gives me positive x minus, because -4 times positive y is a -4y, and then I've got 3/4 times -4 is going to be -12/4, which is equal to a -3. There I am in standard form. Okay, number 14. So I'm going to start again. I'm going to do y minus 0 equals -1/2. Again, point slope form, minus x minus 6. I'm going to distribute. I get -1/2 x plus, this would be 1/2 times, -1/2 times -6 is positive 6/2, which is 3. And then I've got y is equal to -1/2 x plus 3 in slope-intercept form. I'm then going to add 1/2 x to both sides. And when I do that, I get 1/2 x plus y is equal to 3. I need to get rid of my fraction, so I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. So I end up with x plus 2y is equal to 6. And there's my equation. All right, last one here. We can do point slope form again. Y minus 1 is equal to 1 times x plus 2. I'm going to distribute, so I get x plus 2. I'm going to add 1 to both sides. So y is going to be equal to x plus 3. So slope-intercept form, now I'm going to go to standard form. I'm going to subtract x from both sides. -x plus y is equal to 3. Then I'm going to multiply both sides by -1 to get rid of that fraction. X minus y is equal to -3. Okay, I'm going to pause the video here because I'm only allowed 15 minutes, and I'm going to continue on the last couple of problems on the next video. See you in a minute.